Yeah, hi Kevin. Yeah, it's Colin. My apologies. Somebody actually contacted me today with the same question. I realized the instructions missed that whole the extra index pages and their background header. So I'm going to give you two quick tours here. Number one is this background image up here at the top of the page. So just previewing in a browser. Index 3, the big background image right behind here that does the zoom in, zoom out. Yeah. So quick way to get to that, or just to I'll show you where the code is loaded in. It's right down here as soon as the basically right after the body sort of starts up. We get down to an editable region called header main, and here's the image right here. So it's in the site themed images backgrounds folder, and that's where you'll find most of the background or any background images. They're all in here. Okay, and there's a whole bunch. Okay, we've called this one section BGB. So this is the image right here. I'm just going to open it up in Adobe Fireworks to give you the sizes and whatnot. Yeah, so this one here is 1680 by 1114. So 1680 by anything 1680 and by 1024 and up is usually a good size. But try it out and see how it works for you. It will scale to sort of, fit the browser full screen, just so you know. So the bigger the image you have, the better. We've also used tinypng.com. So if you just go to Google, type in tinypng.com, we optimize our images through there, so they're optimized for the web as well. So they'll load, like you can have a really big image and not have it take up a lot of file size. But back in here, so yeah, that's it. If you can either create a new image, call it section-bg-b, and pop it into the site themed images backgrounds folder to replace the existing one, or you can just put a new image wherever you want and then change the path to it right here. Okay, now the rest, what you'll find is, I'm going to show you just because you may want to change other images lower down on the page. So you see sort of a background image in this section here. Well, the section itself has a name or a number. In this case, if we go to our quick tag selector, where you see the section tag, right? Typically what you can do is you can take a look at this. It says section 3 and then section BGD. So that's the actual image that's being used, section BG-D. So site themed images, that image there corresponds to this class right here. If you hover over it, it says section 3 section-BG-D. So that way you can sort of line up the, and the reason we went with a weird name like section background and then an alpha or a letter was because it may change from site to site, and then it's easier to keep the class, whereas something and the name, something that's identifiable by looking at it like that on the page. Let me scroll down, same thing, we click in here, and this one is section BG-G. Okay, so that's the name of the image. That's the image that's showing up in the background right there. All right, and this guy here, section BG-H. So this is the image that's actually showing up in the background of that section of the page there. Okay, so that's just a quick tour to show you where they're coming from. And this here, that's not actually, that's sort of just a probably BG5 or section 5. So it's not actually using a background image. So if we hover over, it just says section 5. When you get those things where it's not an actual image, it's sort of a graphic-y thing like that, that's actually pulled out of the theme.css. And what you could do is you can actually go down and here's all the section graphics. This will tell you, the A, B, C, and D, where they're being loaded in from if you ever want to know that. And then we have section numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example. And 5, which we were just looking at there, is way down the page here. And it loads in a section 5 BG PNG from the graphics folder, and it's a semi-transparent. So you'll either find, that some of them, depending on what they look like, will be in the graphics folder, but the actual images themselves, right, if it's not a sort of background pattern, it'll actually be in the themed images and backgrounds. These are all pretty much actual images of some type or another.